Hello everybody. Welcome to the live. I'm going to share the live to the group. So hold on a second. Is anybody able to see this? Okay, I shared it to the group. If you're here, say hi. Let me know you're here. So push it up a little bit. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dee. How's everybody doing this weekend? Excuse me, I'm choking on my hot chocolate. Is Darcy being a good boy? Was it hard to find the live because there's nobody showing up? And of course I had to choke on this hot chocolate. Oh, Michelle's having a hard time. Hey, Megan. Glad you're here. I was thinking people were having trouble getting on. I'm going to see if I can fix... Hi, Michaela. Hi, Chucky. Yeah, next time. Well, I'm having hot chocolate now, testing it out, but here's the one for next time. And I'm testing it out right here. This is the Starbucks hot chocolate. It's actually pretty good. Although it did make me choke, I guess. Baby Yoda would approve of it, I think. But there's no frogs in it. What are you guys up to today, Michaela? Needs marshmallows? Yeah. I didn't want to waste one of the marshmallows. But I should probably test it out to see. Just hanging out, planning Christmas gifts. Oh, that's what I did this morning too. I ordered gifts for the boys. I think they're gonna like what I picked out for them. I hope. Oh, it went with their little personalities. Let's see. Hey, Vicky. Glad you can make it. I was starting to wonder if it was hard to find. I did send out some invites, which I normally don't do, but I was hoping that didn't confuse anybody. What are you up to today, Vicky? Do you have ideas, Michaela, for things you could put in the box? Actually, this one already has a gift in it. This one already has a gift in it. Because I wanted to put the gift in since I was wrapping it up as a sample. I didn't want to have to take it apart again, so I put the gift in there. These are empty. So you can claim dibs on any of them except the pink one. You put in a load of laundry. Yeah, household chores today. That sounds good. Move them over a little bit. Yeah, the Disney box is so cute. And this is with the leftover Happiest Place collection, which you can still get on the website. This is from Jingle Joy. There are new tags and ornaments that are available on the Crafty Chemist Close to My Heart webpage. So there's some wood ornaments that you can decorate and some tags too. Maybe I'll drop a link for those in here. Okay, there's the Merry Little Christmas link for the tags and the ornaments. And I also dropped the link to the Disney paper where this came from, The Happiest Place. You still are able to get it. Oh, it looks like it posted The Happiest Place twice. I mean the Merry Little Christmas twice. Let me try. Okay, that should do it. I must have accidentally copied and pasted the link into the bar and then copied that again. Yeah, so the happiest place one is where I made this. This is from the brushed collection, the paper. I think you could still get the brushed collection. Hey Michelle, just in time, I just posted the link to the brushed collection. I was showing them that this box was made with the brushed collection paper. I love this paper. It's got like it looks like lights. Yeah, exactly. And then the Disney one. Okay, since Michelle's here, we'll get started because I know I was waiting for her because I know she wanted to make the boxes. So today I am going to show you how to make these boxes. Okay, and then, so I thought I'd show you the big version first so that you can see it easier, and then we can go get into the advent calendar. I didn't want to start with the small pieces first. So we're going to make this first and then do the advent calendar. Okay, so to make these, you need one piece of some kind of designer paper, you know, printed paper that you like. Okay, and this is a full 12 by 12 sheet. All I have done is cut off the zip strip at the top. So this measures 12 by 12. And one 12 by 12 sheet will make this size box, which is about 4 1/4 square. So 4 1/4 square. So with 12 by 12 paper, the biggest size box you can make is 4 1/4. Okay, so you want one sheet that's designer for the top, okay? And then I used just white daisy on the bottom, but you can use a coordinating color if you want to. So you can use the, you know, the pink or the yellow or whatever that goes with this if you want to. I just used the white daisy. And this, you need to cut it a little bit smaller. So I took 1/4 inch, I don't know if you can see, I took 1/4 inch off of the white paper, off of both sides. So this measures 11 3/4 by 11 3/4, the white. Now if you're using something very thin, like true origami paper, you can have it be the same size. But since this paper is a little bit thick, if you want to be able to open and close it, you need that little bit of extra room because you can see how tight this is, even with the 1/4 inch difference. So this box is about 2 1/4, well, probably about 2 1/4 inch deep. Okay. So is everybody ready? So you could start with your 12 by 12 paper and follow along. Now first, if you want, like I want this to be the outside of my box. Okay, so you need to turn that under. Okay, so you want to start on the side that you don't want. Okay, so get your paper and fold it in half lengthwise like this. And again, be if you have a bone folder, you can fold it, okay? And then you open it back up, and then you turn it 90 degrees, and you fold it like this. The other way, okay? And burnish that. So now you have, you know, a plus, and it basically marks the center of your paper. And now we're going to take this corner here and bring the corner up to the center. So we're going to bring this up to here, okay? And you want to try and stay along the lines. And sometimes I just kind of lift it up to make sure that I'm not going over, and fold along there. And then you're going to do the same thing for all of the other corners. Okay. Okay, the third one. And I'm folding them so they all have crisp edges. And then the last one. And this one you'll be able to tell how well you folded along the lines. That didn't do too bad on there because it almost met completely. Okay, so now you have something like this. This kind of reminds me, did you ever make those things when you were in school, the little like fortune tellers that you go in and out, in and out? I don't know. It's the same kind of process to do that. Okay, so now we have this. And now you're going to fold it in half again like this. And fold and burnish the edge so it's a nice edge. Okay, then open it up and turn it 90 degrees. And fold it again. And burnish it. How are we doing? What happens if they don't meet? It's okay. But you'll see, after I did about 20 of them, they're not going to meet exactly. It doesn't matter. It'll work out perfectly. Are we following along so far? Okay, so now we have our score marks going both ways. Now you're going to take the bottom and fold it up to the center, but the whole thing, so like this. And then burnish the edges. Okay, and then turn it 180 degrees and do the same thing with the other side. And burnish the edges. Okay, and now you have to open it up and turn it 90 degrees and then do the same thing. Remember, we already folded this in half. So now we're going to bring this up to the center. Burnish the edge and then do this side. And we're just about done. We're almost finished with it. Okay. Okay, so now you have something that looks like this. And hopefully you can kind of start seeing, right, the box shape taking place, right? Okay, so now all you need to do now is we're going to have to trim, cut along one of these lines. So you can just pick a side and start there. So I'm going to start with this mark here. So you want to cut right along, you see that fold line right there? I'm going to just cut up to that first fold, so just to there. You want to make sure that it does cut through, yeah, so cut just up to there, and then do the same thing on the same side, okay? So on this side, cut right along that line. And so now you can kind of see what's going to happen. You're going to be able to fold that in there. Okay, now you need to turn it 180 degrees and do it on the opposite side. So since we trimmed these two, we're going to now trim these two. Okay, so it's the ones that are directly across from it. There, and then on this side. Okay, and now we're almost good to go. So what we're going to do is, I'm just going to show you and then we'll do it. So you're going to flip one side up, the side that you cut, flip it up, and then we're going to put this in here and kind of tuck it inside. Okay. So I'm going to put it back here to show you again. So on the two sides that we cut, that's where we're going to be tucking in the corners. But what you want to do, and you don't have to do this, but I do it, is on these two triangles, I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive to keep it down on the paper. Technically, when you put this over it and you tape this one down, it kind of covers those so it won't come out. But I just like to do it just to be sure. So I tape just the triangle down a little bit. So let's get back to this part. Okay, so take this middle piece here, pull it up, get it out of the way, and then pull these up, and then fold this back over. And then I am going to put some tape, some adhesive, right there to keep it down. Okay? We're almost done. Now I'm going to turn it this way so you can see. And we're going to do the same thing. Flip open the middle, fold these in, and then wrap this around. And you can put the adhesive on here before you. You're going to just put the adhesive on there to keep it inside. Now, technically it will stay. You know, it's kind of folded, so it should stay, but I put the adhesive down. Okay, so there you have your box top. See how easy that was? You didn't really need anything except for the paper and your scissors. And you could have gotten away without the scissors by just, you know, ripping it or something, but. So were you able to follow along? Because this is the big one. So it's easiest to see. I'm going to do it again with the white, but I wanted to make sure that you followed along. While I'm waiting to hear if that made sense, I'm going to post, this is from the Serenity paper pack. And I really love this paper pack. Okay, it has this kind of designs. You saw the back side of it. This paper, I love this paper. This. And then this one. And you know what? This might be, I haven't tried it, but I wonder if you can fold it so that this, the pine cones show up around the edges of it. I don't know, but this is the paper pack. So I wanted to feature this paper because it is so beautiful. Isn't that a pretty design? I'll drop the link for the paper pack there. And I'll also put the coordinating cardstock if you want to, instead of doing white on the bottom, if you want to do a coordinating. So you were able to do it okay, Michelle? Hi, Judy. We're making these boxes. This is something you can do because it doesn't involve stamping. Yeah, and it's a beautiful box inside and out, right? So, okay, so let's try it again. I'm going to do it with the white. Okay, so now remember, the bottom of the box is a 1/4 inch smaller. So this is an 11.75, 11 3/4 by 11 3/4. Okay, and we're going to do it again. So, are we ready to try it again? Michelle, are you good? Okay, so we're going to fold the bottom into the top. Now, you'll notice if you're doing this, the coordinating cardstock or the white daisy is a little bit thicker. Okay, so it's, you really need to make sure you burnish it, although you want to be careful because this can, since it's thick, you do get some of the white core showing. So if you are doing this with a colored cardstock, you might get some of the white core showing. And I'll show you on my sample that, you know, when I did the red, you do get a little bit of that on the folds. Hi, Jean. And hi, Judy. Okay, so now we have our center marked, right, with the two sides. And we're going to take this corner and put it up here. Fold it. And then just do it on all 4 sides. Okay, number 3. And then number 4. There we go. And I usually go back down over the corners just to make sure those are... Okay, so now we've got another square, and we're going to do the same thing. So fold it in from the bottom. Open it back up, turn it 90 degrees, and fold it in half. Okay. And now take the bottom and fold it towards the middle. Like this. Turn it 180 degrees and have this meet in the middle. Okay, so we have it like that. Open it back up. And now we're going to fold this side in. So we've done that on all 4 sides. Turn it 180 degrees and put this side in. Okay, open it back up. So now again, you can see kind of the box shape forming, right? So now we're just going to cut these pieces here. So pick one side and cut along this fold right here. Jean, are you back from Disney or are you still at Disney? Okay, so we cut this one, cut the one that's on the same side. Okay, and now turn it 180 degrees and cut the ones that are opposite of that. And again, the coordinating cardstock is a little bit thicker, so it's not quite as easy. That's why I started with the top. Okay. So now all we have to do is tape the pieces shut. So this is the side that I'm going to open up and fold in. So I'm going to tape the two on the opposite sides. Just tape them down so that they don't open up, okay? Okay, so let's do this first one. So we're going to fold the flaps in and then wrap it around. And then I'm going to put adhesive on the inside of here, so I'll do that before I wrap it in. Now when you're doing this folding part over, this is where it'll be apparent if you know, if your points didn't meet in the middle. You might have to kind of burnish the edges just to get them. Okay, and then the last side, I'm going to put a little bit of tape here to keep it down. But again, it's not 100% necessary if you're not concerned about it. And then fold in the corners and then tape it down. So now you have the bottom of your box. See how easy that was? Okay, now you'll see how this fits, hopefully real nicely on the top. And because you know, cut that white piece a little bit smaller, a 1/4 inch smaller, it fits nicely. It would have been pretty tight if you hadn't, because this paper's thick. Okay, and now you can decorate this as you wish. I did get this. I'm not gonna totally wrap. I'll show you how I'm gonna do it, but I don't have my gift in there. I just have some ribbon. Should have maybe opened this up before. Oh, here we go. Okay. So I did bring some tape, but I would wrap it like this. You know what? I have my gift ready. I'm going to go off camera and put the gift in here because I have it ready to go. I don't want the person to see it because they may or may not be on the live. Okay. So now let's do this. Good. Put a little bit of adhesive there. Even Megan could do this. And we all know how she is with wrapping. So this is something Megan could do. So you know, if Megan could do it, anybody can do it. Make this a little bit tighter. Okay, oops, of course now. Let's tape this side. I should have brought like tape, like regular Scotch tape. Okay, there we go. And then I made this little bow with the bow die cut set. Okay, and I would put that on with the glue dot. So let's see, I have it's a little bit different gold, but I don't think that matters. Let me see. So I'm going to put this on with the glue dot. And actually, I have planned a live for making these bows. So, but, okay, look how pretty that is. It's a bold statement. Yeah, Megan, are you following along? We want to know. Okay, and now FYI, this is ribbon that I just bought at Michael's, okay? And I want you to see, you see how it's flecking? I don't know if you can see. Let me see if I can zoom in. Do you see the little gold from the glitter? That is not from our glitter paper. That is from this ribbon. our glitter paper does not shed like that. So all that glitter is from this ribbon I just bought. But I knew I wanted a gold ribbon. So we're waiting for Michelle. Oh, you ready? Okay. Were you able to make your box? Okay, Michelle. I am going to drop the link for the small bow thin cut. Okay, so look how beautiful that is. Okay, now let's start on the advent calendar, the main event. That was our practice. So this is what I made. I'm going to try and go up a little bit so I can see the... Okay, so this is the advent calendar. You can see it's like a book. It stands up. All right, you can... I don't know if I can... Can you see how it stands up? Okay, and those are just made with the... Those are just made with the little boxes, okay? So I made 24 of these little boxes, okay? And put them on this, in this book that I made. Okay, this is just made out of chipboard. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. Let me get the camera set back up here. A little different, but it works. Okay, I'm sure it's good. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Again, it looks like a book that opens up. Okay, so what you need is two sheets of pattern paper. Okay, these are full 12 by 12 sheets. Okay. And all I did, you know, ours have the zip strip on the top. I just cut that out. So it's full 12 by 12 paper. This is actually from, as you'll see, from the brushed set. Again, I'm using the brush set again. Because the person who wanted this advent calendar wanted a pink girly one, so now you take your two sheets and we're going to overlap them 2 inches. Okay, so we're going to overlap 2 inches on this side. So 2 inches would be here. So let's move this. And this is the wrong side, right? This is the side I don't want to show. Okay, so put your right side down. So the side that you want to show, this is the side I want to show. Oh, let me make sure I have it going the right direction too. Oh no, I'm glad I looked because they're not. Okay, the diamonds are going the right way. This is the side I want to show, so I'm going to put that down. And then I'm going to overlap these 2 inches. So 2 inches there and 2 inches down here. What this will do is it will make the seam fall in the middle, you know, on the spine. So you can, I don't know if you can kind of see, but the seam is right here on this one. You can't really tell because I covered it up, but so you want it to be on the spine somewhere. Okay. So I put down score tape. If you have red line tape, it'd be fine. Something strong. Gina K. Fantastic tape, I think she calls it. Okay, so then let's overlap at 2 inches. I'm gonna measure here and I'm gonna overlap it. Now, if you're concerned about how it matches on the other side, you can try and match it up. But you want it to be around 2 inches so that it shows, it hits on the spine. So kind of be careful about that. Okay, and score tape is really hard to fix, so, okay, yeah, that's, so you want to make sure you get it down good the first time. Okay. Like I said, you can use red line tape if you want. Okay. It's not going to matter that there's this line and that they don't match up, because I'm actually going to cover it with a piece of, another piece of cardstock. So you're not even going to see that. But if you're OCD, you can try and match it up. I could have probably played around and made it match up. Okay. Keep the good side down. And now we're going to take chipboard. So this is chipboard, okay, that I purchased in a pack. I bought this off of Amazon, and I bought it back when we made those flip-flap albums. So mine actually came in 8.5 by 11 sheets. Okay. So this is what it's like. It's harder than cardboard, okay? So you need something sturdy. So this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet. So you need 2 8.5 by 11 sheets. And then you need one for the spine that is 3 inches. Okay, so this measures 3 inches. By 11. 3 inches by 11. And I already put the score tape down because I know you didn't want to sit here and watch me, put all of the tape down. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to center this, and you want about 1 inch around. It's a little bit less than 1 inch at the top and the bottom. It's, a half an inch, because this is 12 by 12 paper, and the chipboard is 11. So, it's only 1 inch bigger, but there should be 1 inch on the sides, okay? And then in the middle here, you are going to want you want them to be pretty much butted up to each other, and then just a little bit more than that. Right, put a little bit of space between them, because you wanted the paper to be able to fold. And what I did is I have this roller that's a little bit thick, and I just, I want it to be about a ruler's width away from each other. Okay, so almost butted up to each other, but not quite. And then of course you want them to be even on the top and the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to leave these here. It looks pretty good. I've got about, I don't know if you can see on this side, about 1 inch, and then I have about 1 inch on that side. Okay, and I'm going to start with the center. And you can see where my seam is, and so I want to make sure that I put the chipboard down over the seam. That way I can cover it up. I'm just taking off all of this score tape. And you can put down your red line tape or whatever you have. Okay. And again, you want something that's strong that would, adhere it. So I'm going to put this down, keeping in mind where my thing is, where the seam is. And then you can place the other 2 sides, off of that. Okay, so now let's do this side. And I guess I went a little crazy on the score tape. I did put it on the insides. I've seen people put liquid glue on here and kind of smear it. I don't like how it makes the paper buckle, so I'd rather use the score tape or red line tape or fantastic tape or whatever you're using. Okay, remember, I want to put this up against here. So I'm going to put my ruler there and then line this up as good as I can. and set it down. Okay? And now do the same thing on this side. So I'm just going to take the score tape off of here. How many people have an advent calendar already? Does anyone have an advent calendar? Michaela, do you have an advent calendar? Do you have any left? And this is in 3 little pieces only because I was at the very end of my score tape. You do, Vicky does. I mean, Michelle does, Vicky does. Okay. Okay, and do it this way. Okay. Now just kind of rub down. Okay, so here's what we're going to do next. We're going to fold in the tops and the bottom and the sides. Okay? And in order to do that, I'm going to take off the tape. I'm going to take off the ones around the edges. And I'm going to try and leave the middle ones go so I don't get stuck on them. You want to at least make sure that you're taping around the edges to hold them down, okay? If you don't do the ones in the middle or in the center, that's fine. But I don't like the center to kind of, the paper to bubble up at all. So that's why I wanted to glue it down. You can also put the tape on the, you know, on the part, on the paper instead of on the board. But I figured that this way it was easier to do ahead of time. So that's why I did it this way. Okay, now I'm going to slowly, you know, flip this over. And you want to kind of be careful, and you want it to be tight. Okay, and make sure it's up against the edge. Okay. That's kind of why I like to have the tape down there, so you can kind of just fold it and okay. Oh, you know what I didn't do first? Ooh. I want to cut the corners. I didn't do that. And you want to cut, remember when we made the flip-flap books, you want to cut the corners so that bulk is off, but you want to leave a little bit here. So hopefully you didn't flip up your sides yet. I'm going to cut these corners just to get the bulk gone. I'm not sure I'll be able to do that on. I'm going to undo that a little bit. See if this will work. Hope I don't ruin the whole thing. There we go. Okay, just enough so I can cut that corner. Okay. I'm gonna have to let that dry or put more tape down. Okay, let me do this one. Undo the corners a little bit. Okay. Don't forget to cut the corners. Okay, there we go. Now we're good. Undo has become my friend lately. Okay, now let's go on this side. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit. Okay. Work your way around. This is why you need some, some strong tape to hold it down. But you're gonna overlap some paper on the other side, so it's okay. Okay. Might put a little bit more score tape right on here, although it's still pretty sticky. And actually, well, put it inside a little bit. It's still pretty sticky, but I just want to make sure. Oh, I need to take this piece off. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing there. Okay, there, I put a new piece of score tape. Oh, that side did pretty good. Okay, now this part's going to come over top. I'll do it like this so you can see it. And now you can see why you had to kind of cut that. So it has a nice mitered corners now. Okay. And then the last side. Okay. So now, if you see it from this side, now you have a nice right edge all the way around. Okay, so now we're just going to cover things up. How are we doing? Michelle, are you following along? Okay, here's how this next part is going to go. So the boxes go on this side and this side, okay? So the boxes go on the side. So you want that center to look pretty nice, okay? So first we're going to put down a piece in the center, okay? And let me show you what I'm going to do on here. I'm going to put these green pieces on the sides. And the reason is because this paper that I made the boxes with for the calendar are pink and green and black. So the circles are pink and the numbers are green. So I'm gonna put the green down. But the center piece shows. So if you have some fancy paper that has something like, a piece that you can fussy cut to make like a Santa or, something really pretty in the center, that would be nice. The person who wanted this wanted it to be not super Christmassy, so that's why I went with this design. But I can't decide if I wanted to should I put the dots, the green dots in the center, or should I just stick with another green, solid green? What do you guys think? Oh, you couldn't keep up with the square tape. Well, that's good because then, you saw me forget to cut the corners, so maybe you won't make that mistake. So don't forget to do that. So what's your votes? Should I do the dots or just the matching solid green? Julie says dots. Okay. That way it has a little bit of interest is what I was thinking. I am going to apply some score tape on this. So this piece, this one I didn't pre-do because I couldn't decide. This piece is 5 inches wide by 10.5 by 10.5. Okay, it's 1 inch bigger on both sides than the centerpiece, right? Remember, the centerpiece was 3 inches, and so I made this a little bit bigger so that these other pieces will, you know, cover over that. Okay, so let me put a little bit of score tape on here. I know there's tape on there, but I want it to cover the where the top part is on the okay. This one I'm just going to put on the edges because I already have the stuff in the center. But I want to make sure it's held down good on the... And you want to get it, you know, pretty close to the edge without going over. Kind of like you were playing Price is Right. Because you don't want it to be sticky on the other side. Okay. This is why I did the other ones first, because, again, I didn't think you wanted me to watch me do that. So, I mean, basically, this is just like our flip-flap album that we made before. And we're almost done, and then all we have to do is add the boxes. Although I am going to make one of the small ones so you can see what it's like to make the small one. Okay, so now this is going to go down centered on the, and it's, remember, it's 10.5, and this paper, or this thing, the chipboard is 11. So it's not going to go quite up because you want it to have, you know, kind of a nice finished edge on both sides. Okay, now I'm just going to put these pieces on both sides, and you can see how now it's covering this up. Now these ones I made 11, or no, we have 10.5. I must have cut that one a little bit smaller. Okay, let's take all this score tape off of this. I should invest in score tape. Now, I don't use it a lot, but I only use it for things that I really want to be held down strongly. And this one, you know, the kids are going to be opening and shutting it. They're going to be trying to take those boxes off, you know, so you want it to be held down nicely. Okay. So here we're going to center this, and you want to make sure, let me find my bone folder. You want to find where that fold is, and you kind of want it to be, you don't want this piece to go over that, so you want it kind of centered nicely on both sides, and you want it to be about 1/4 inch all the way around. Okay. Now this side can be plain because you're going to put all the boxes on it, so it doesn't matter. Okay, let's take this tape off. I don't 100% remember if I took the tape off the inside there before I did that. It's okay. And again, you know, you don't have to go as bananas as I did with the tape, but the ones around the edges are the most important. Okay, the last piece. Okay. And again, let me measure, let me find where the fold is here. Okay. So it's here. You want to kind of help it along there. It can bend nicely. And you see how it overlaps an inch? Okay, so now I know I shouldn't go farther than that. And put this down. Okay, so now basically you have your box done. Look how nice that is. Okay, all we're gonna do is put a trim on the outside. So here's the spine, and you can see the seam there. So I'm gonna put, and I picked this pretty hot pink, the same pink that is on here. Okay, and I'm just gonna put this right over the spine. Now here, you can use glitter, right? If you want to make it glittery, I would put like maybe some of this gold glitter paper. I didn't have any pink glitter paper. I had green, but it's not the clover green. This green that I use is clover. Okay, and I didn't have clover glitter paper. I just had evergreen, which wasn't as nice. Okay, so here's the fold. I'm gonna just put my rulers where the fold is so I know kind of where to center it. Okay, so now this piece, before I do that, let me measure it for you. This is 2 3/4 by 10 3/4. Okay. And so you just kind of center it over the spine. And then you could, right, put stickers, you could put, whatever you want on that. Like I said, my person asked for it to be not super Christmassy, so I would cut this piece 10 3/4. I made this 10 1/2. I would do the centerpiece 11 or 10 3/4, like these. These are 10 3/4. It's a little bit smaller. See, I cut this one the same. Okay, so now all we have to do is put the boxes. I have already made all of the boxes but one. So this is from the Jingle Joy paper pack. This paper has paper with the lights. It's got this pretty green and pink stripes. It's got these cute trees. And then it has hearts. They're black hearts and black plaid. And then the black polka dots. So there's 3 different papers and they're 2-sided. So on one side is the black design and then on the other side is the pink design. So that's why I made the numbers pink and green, because I didn't want it to be too overwhelmingly black. So I will drop the link to the Jingle Joy paper pack in here. Okay, but first, so we're going to make, I saved one box to make, the smaller one for you. And if I can find the Jingle Joy paper pack, here you go. Oh, foiling would be beautiful on that stripe. Yeah. You know what? I actually did try on this paper here. I tried to run this through the laminator with the foil, because sometimes black printed paper can accept the foil, but ours did not, so that would have been really pretty. Okay, so let's just make the box. Okay, so the size for these boxes that you need to start with is a 6x6 piece of paper for the top, and then this is 5.75 by 5.75 for the bottom. Okay, so the designer is 6x6. This is 5.75 by 5.75. Okay, a 1/4 inch smaller, so you can see a little bit smaller. So you can make your boxes any size that you want between, between this size and this size. Okay, this is with a 6x6. This is with a 12x12. Okay. So let's start with the top one. Now I want this paper to be on the top. So I'm going to turn it over, and then we'll do the same thing. Fold it in half. Open it back up. Fold it in half. And it becomes a little bit fussier with the smaller paper. Okay? Bring the corners up to the center. All four. The third one. And then the fourth one. Oh, now you can see Michelle there. I didn't do it perfectly, so you'll be fine. Okay, now take the bottom and fold it over to the top on one side. Open it back up, and then turn it 90 degrees and do the same thing, so you get the center lines marked. Okay. So now I'm going to take this and bring it to the center. Take this side and bring it to the center. Okay, let's open it back up and then turn it 90 degrees and do this side, bring this side up. So basically you're just bringing all four edges to the center. And what I love about this paper is you see how it's meeting in the middle. These stripes are horizontal. Remember when I started, this paper is actually diagonal. Okay, so now we have the box made. All we need to do is put our little cuts in for the corners. So I'm just gonna start on this side. Okay, just up to that 1/4 mark there. This one. Turn it over. The other side. And cut these 2 pieces. Okay. So that means that these are going to be folding up into here. Okay. And so I'm going to put a little bit of tape on these 2 to hold it down. If I can find my tape runner in the mess of score tape that I have off of here. Okay, I'm going to have to go get another one. Did you know that I don't have another? Does that surprise anybody? Really? Oh, it's under my Sizzix. Okay, so these are the sides that I'm going to put the tape down in just so that it stays down. Okay, now this one, we're open up the center, put the corners in, and tuck this around. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the triangle piece there. Okay, and then this side, same thing, put a little bit of adhesive there just to hold it down. Fold in these corners. Okay, so now you've got the cute little box. Hey, Chris. You definitely could use these boxes for your 12 days of Christmas for your family. Okay, now let's do the bottom. Okay, remember this is 5.75 and we're going to do the same thing. Fold it in half, burnish it, open it back up, turn it 90 degrees. Fold it in half. Okay, now you have your center marked. Take the corner, bring it up to the center. Take this corner, bring it up to the center. This corner, bring it to the center. And then this corner, bring it up to the center. Okay. Okay, now you have a square, bring the bottom up to the top. Okay, turn it 90 degrees, bring this bottom up to the top. So now you have a kind of a plus in the middle of that. You see you made the cross part. Okay, now bring the bottom up to the center. Bring this bottom up to the center. We're almost there. Turn it 90 degrees and put this bottom to the center. And then this bottom to the center. Now, you don't have to use white. You can use any colors that you want. I just like the white to stay, you know, the same. Okay, trim, just make a little snip here along the folds. Turn it and do the ones across from it. Okay. So these are the ones that are going to be folded up into here. So let's tape these pieces down a little bit. And if you tape it up, that's fine. It just gets it out of the way. Let's put a little bit of adhesive on this one. Fold this up. Oh, now see this one I didn't cut all the way through, so sometimes that happens. Okay, put a little adhesive on this part. Again, just so it doesn't pop up. And fold this in. Okay, there you go. Now you have your little box. Okay, and again, this size box is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and it's about 1 1/4 deep. Okay, so now we have to arrange these in your book. Okay, so you have to make 24 of these boxes. Okay, so 24 tops and 24 bottoms. That's 48. It will take you a little while, but you go a lot faster after you do it a few times. So that's all I can tell you, is it does take some time. So I have these already done and I have them arranged. I like them to be in random kind of order, so I kind of spread it around. I made sure that the designs were randomly spread, because from the paper pack there's 3 different sheets with 2 sides, so there's 6 different designs, and you can get 4 out of one 12 by 12 sheet, right? So each design is going to have 6, or each of the 6 designs has 4 boxes. So you can see there's 4 of the plaid, there's 4 of the polka dot, there's 4 of the stripes, and so on. This is one paper pack, did this whole thing, okay? The only thing you want to make sure is the paper pack is 2-sided, so you want to do one of the pieces with, you know, the one side, and then you want to do the other piece on the other side. So whenever you're making the boxes, remember, you want to put the design that you want to show on the top down, right? You want it to be face down, okay? So that way you get 4 of each of the 6 designs, okay? If you don't, it's not a big deal, but if you want it to be a variety, that's what I would suggest. Okay, now comes the hard part. I don't know, is then I started thinking, how am I going to put these on here? How am I going to space it evenly? So, you know, I kind of set this up, and you can just eyeball it. I did different things, like I tried to make strips of paper, like, you know, taking something like this and putting it in between to make it all spaced out, and it wasn't that easy. So what I ended up doing is I made this template in Design Space, and I have posted this for you. So these boxes are 2 1/4, just like our boxes, and you could set it right down on your paper. This is 8.5 by 11. Now this is just a template. You're not going to keep this on here, okay? This is just to help you put them. And so you can put them like this and then glue them down, okay? I used our liquid glass to do it. And all I did is I took the liquid glass, I put a little bit of the glue on the bottom. You don't want to get too close to the edge because it will, you know, spill out. And then I set it in the space. Okay, I did the next one. Now, after I did all this, I realized, oh, I can't put up the template. I can't get it up. But if you take the tops off, it comes up fine. So you just glue these down. And I did take my time a little bit to do this. I ended up putting something kind of heavy over it. Let's see if this will help. I don't know. To kind of help hold it down a little bit until the glue dried. Okay, and then I did the next layer. Okay, and I tested it, and it holds very well. And I'll show you on the one that's I completed. I also made a Design Space file for the numbers, because this was something else that I thought. I was like, oh, I don't want to have to stamp all of those numbers, you know, and I didn't want to use stickers because Close to My Heart doesn't have any number stickers. It's all stamps. So I made this file, and you are welcome to the file. I posted it in the event on the Crafty Chemist Presents CTMH. So if you want to see it, you have to go into the event page. And I also made an SVG file. I posted it for the template. Okay, so that's on there too that you can print out. Okay, and let's do the last row here. last one. Okay, and then this one, you need to put the number on. So this is 24. And basically what the numbers are is there's a circle underneath that's green, and then the pink is what the Cricut cuts out. So the 2 and the 4 are actually cut out of the pink. So they're not numbers, so you can see you're seeing the green through the cut out 24. So I also put this on with liquid glass. Don't get too close to the edges. And then just center it right on. Let me do it like this. Right on here, and hold it down for a little bit. Put some liquid glass here. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure you don't put the boxes on top of the template because you won't be able to get it up. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry and I'll show you the completed one. Let's see if I'm able to get this without dropping everything. Give it a little bit of time to glue down. Okay, so here's the one that I already completed. This was the boy one. Okay, this one I used the Comfort and Joy paper. And actually, this paper is from the Bloom with Grace bulk pack. But you can see, look how sturdy these are. I mean, these are down very well, and you can see they're nicely spaced with that template. And these stay stuck down and the tops come off. So they could rearrange it. I mean, if they wanted the numbers to be in order, I like them random, but so it is very sturdy. Okay, and it shuts nice. The kid can have it open like this. You know, on their mantle, on their shelf, or whatever. And then when they're done with the season, you can just close it up and put it away. Here's my mess of score tape. Okay. Okay, let me see if I'm able to take the template off of that, just to show you. And then basically it's done. You can decorate the outside however you want. So I'm going to take these off so that I can get the template off of here. And you can see they're already stuck down nicely. And then I just slid the template over. And I've used this for, you know, all of the sides. And then put the boxes back down. Okay, I would recommend that you don't push the tops like all the way to the bottom, because then it does make it a little bit hard to come up. Okay, but that was pretty easy, wasn't it? Was it easier than what you thought to make? You know, we made the flip-flap albums before, which basically the book, the Advent book, is just like the flip-flap album. Okay, I'm going to move that out of the way, and I'm going to put this on top to keep a little pressure on there so that it dries good. Okay, so today we made these big boxes for gifts. And then we use the same box concept for the Advent calendar. Are there any questions about that? Yeah, Vicki, you could just make 12 of these. You know, the big ones you can make. You can actually make a variety of sizes. That would be kind of fun. Depending on what your gifts are. Any questions about the Advent calendar? It really was a lot easier than what I thought once I figured everything out. So I'm hoping that I was able to make it easier for you by spending the time to make the SVG file, the Cricut file for Design Space, for the numbers. And I made the template so you don't have to worry about how you space out your boxes, because I spent a good amount of time trying to figure that out. And of course, you can decorate the outside any way you want. I think on the Advent calendar I'm going to put the Celebrate the Little Things. And then there are some pink flowers. I don't know, I might use some of these. I haven't decided about the decorations yet, except for that one. That way the brother and sister have a similar one. Like this one says a December to remember. So hers would say Celebrate the Little Things, and then have a couple decorations. Again, you can decorate this as much as you want. I've seen ones that have ribbon and glitter and pom-poms and all kinds of stuff on it. But the person who asked me to make these wanted them simple and not too Christmassy. So I thought that was, a good kind of compromise between, being an Advent calendar and then not being too Christmassy. Okay, next week, I'll show you what we're going to be making next week. You want to stay tuned. We are going to be making boozy hot chocolate boxes. Boozy hot chocolate boxes. Look how cute. This uses the November stamp of the month. I've got a little bit of Bailey's for you. Some Starbucks hot cocoa. It's a K-cup, but it's hot chocolate, so it just dissolves. So you don't even have to have a Keurig machine. And then marshmallows. These are Smashmallows, toasted vanilla. Okay, we're gonna make these next week. How fun. This is perfect for a co-worker or your neighbor. I also have a couple other ideas about doing coffee if you don't want it to, have Bailey's coffee with the syrup, the flavored syrup, and maybe a cookie or something. So I have some other ideas too for that. So this is next week, so tune in. This is super simple. Super simple. One piece of paper and then some decorative paper. Okay, if there's no questions, we're over again a little bit. You should just expect to be between an hour and a half. All of the things that I made today, you can buy the materials on my website, thecraftychemist.closetomyheart.com. I did drop some direct links in there for you. The only thing I don't think you can get is the Comfort and Joy paper. I think that is sold out. But I also dropped a link to the bow Think Cut. And this is from the Jingle Joy paper. How many ounces is the Bailey bottles? These are the minis. These are the minis, and they come in a 3-pack. It's 100 milliliters. I don't know if it says ounces on here. It's 100 milliliters. I'll show you the box. This is the box, and it comes in a 3-pack. It says fridge pack, but you don't have to refrigerate it because on the shelf it wasn't refrigerated. So 3 bottles of 100 milliliters. Yeah, it doesn't say the ounces, but I mean, I could probably convert the ounces, but off the top of my head, I don't know the conversion. But again, if you don't want this, you can get there's a mini pack of the syrups, like hazelnut, I don't even know, cherry or something that you know, like you can get at Starbucks in your coffee. So you could do a coffee pod and then the syrups. I will post a link in when I make the event. I haven't made the event for that yet. Okay? Well, thanks for joining me. I hope that that you enjoyed today's. This is how it's sold, like this, in this 3-pack on the shelf. I got this at Target in the liquor area. Okay, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. I hope you got something useful. You know, you can make a gift box or go the whole distance and make the advent calendar. I'm looking forward to seeing yours, Michelle. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.